Hi, thank you for joining us on this episode of Sports Bets for Free. My name is Scott Jenkins, your host, just a local sports bettor here in Phoenix, Arizona. And hopefully today with our bets and your bets, it's going to be another profitable day for you. NFL round robin continues, season-long bets and breakdown for teams. We are in the AFC North, and like I mentioned on the Steelers episode, we do not have a division winner we have picked out here yet. I think this is going to be the best division in football. Some people say the NFC North, but I think the Vikings have kind of separated themselves a rung or two lower, and I think the Bears are a year away with a rookie quarterback. So I think there's only two of the four teams where I think any of the four teams, depending on health, can win this division here. So we'll take another team. The second team in the AFC North that we'll take is going to be the Cleveland Browns. So Browns, obviously, Deshaun Watson is going to be the trigger point of almost any conversation with the Browns. Myles Garrett's awesome. Nick Chubb missed almost all of last year. He's supposed to be back. Love Nick Chubb. He's one of the best running backs in the league. Great offensive line. They add Jerry Jeudy to Amari Cooper in that mix. What else can they get done here? Defense is pretty solid. Defense, though, on the road last year was a totally different story. We cashed on so many Cleveland over games for majority of the season when they were on the road. When they're at home, not a lot of scoring going on whatsoever. They do turn you over. They do get sacks. Overall, pretty good team. If Deshaun Watson, and this is what been going on now, this is the third season we've heard this. If Deshaun is 75% of what he was, they should be pretty damn solid here. If he's not, do they have another Joe Flacco buried down the depth chart? Obviously, Joe's not there this year to kind of bail them out. But, I mean, if it's Thompson Robinson, DTR, I'm not too concerned about him making a bunch of wins. There was a lot of Flacco, even though Flacco did die off at, playoff time, stuff like that. But let's take a look at the schedule here. Total for the Browns, 8.5 wins. It is juiced to the over at most books. Let's start off week one at home against Dallas. Whew, that's a way to start, right? Cowboys in a little bit of flux, as they always are. This is the number one topic in the offseason for everything in the NFL. That's the way Jerry Jones likes it, so might as well keep it that way, right? That's what makes the franchise worth $8-9 billion on that one. At home, though, they should be able to handle Dallas. But we are going to mark that one questionable. At Jacksonville, I think Jacksonville is a hell of a team, and like we mentioned, on the road, they did struggle defensively last year. It's allowed a lot of points. We're going to mark that one questionable as 2. At home against New York, that's a win. At Vegas, that's a win. So 2-0-2. At Washington, we feel that's a win. So 3 wins. At Philly, that one I think is going to be tough. We'll mark that one a loss currently, so 3-1 with 2 questionables. Cincinnati at home, we figure they probably split, go 3-3 in their own division, win the home games. So there's 4. Baltimore at home is going to be a tough one. There's 5. Chargers at home should be I don't think I think, like I said, Chargers might be a year or 2 away. They will be good down the road, but not first year with no weapons. And Herbert going to be suffering with an injury basically for the whole season. So let's give them 5 there. Then they head to the bye week, right? So going through that first part again, win against the Giants, win against Vegas, win against the Commanders, there's 3, and then 2 home division wins, there's 5. Give them the LA game, that's 6. At New Orleans, that should be another win. New Orleans is not good, folks. If you're still backing Derek Carr at this point, I don't know what else to tell you. That guy is an absolute hot garbage. He is not a guy that's going to get you anywhere. Your team has to be so good around him, but it's hard to do when he wants all the money on that one. Pittsburgh at home, you could give him 8 there. At Denver, 9. Loss at Pittsburgh. Loss at home against Kansas City. Loss at Cincinnati. Miami at home, probably going to be a question mark game there. But they should win that one because Miami can't play in the cold. And Baltimore on the road to finish up the season. I don't see how, like I said, if Deshaun plays decently, this team could have 11 wins. It's like when you look through this whole damn AFC North, almost every one of these teams could have 11 wins to win this division. Over 8.5. This is the same thing as we saw with the Steelers. Instead of getting plus money, though, we are paying a little heavy extra juice here, but I got to think Browns over 8.5 is one of the easier bets on if you're looking at win totals. I love the Steelers, like we mentioned, and we love the Browns over 8.5 as well. So over 8.5 wins, definitely want to do that one there. Now, we mentioned on the last show, if you were watching, and we'll get to this in just a second, but we'll go Cleveland Browns to make the playoffs, plus money to make the playoffs. I don't know how you don't like that one, plus 138, especially before the season starts. If you're going to make these playoff bets, unless you're damn sure like the Chiefs are making the playoffs or something, you've got to play plus money plays here. But Browns to make the playoffs. Now, like I said, we mentioned in the last show with the Steelers that when we get to the AFC North, there is no value in playing the Ravens or the Bengals whatsoever. There was huge value for the Steelers and the Browns. Like I said, if you got four teams, all four can win it, why the hell are we playing anything at plus 150? You're not. You're playing the Browns at plus 450, though, right? And you're playing the Steelers at plus 750 because there's a lot of value in those two teams there. So give us AFC North winner. We'll also sprinkle a little bit on the Browns there as well. So over 8.5 wins to make the playoffs. Also, to win the division. So now we will scroll over to player stats, and we always start with the quarterbacks because they're the most important thing out there. That's proven by all the money that they get paid, right? So we'll scroll down. We'll look for Deshaun Watson, 3,300 passing yards. So this one for me smells under all the way. Here's a couple reasons why. Number one, Deshaun hasn't played a full season since his last season with Houston. Now, the shoulder injury was a little bit of a deal. Obviously finished his season off last year. He had the suspension the year before. So he hasn't had the opportunity necessarily to play that. And he sat the year before that with Houston as they stuffed him down the depth chart while all of his off-the-field issues were going on. 3,300 is definitely an underplay here for us. Not only that, you have an offense that wants to run the ball heavy and time control the offense under 3,300 passing yards for Mr. Deshaun. He's going to, even if he plays 15 games, that's still like 220 almost a game. That's quite a bit there in that range, I think, for him. All right, so next one, Deshaun Watson, 19.5 passing touchdowns. This one's going to boil down to health here as well. It's juiced to the under, just like the passing yards were. We're going to have to play under one more time. I would love to come out here and say Deshaun Watson's flinging the ball over the place. He looks a little uncomfortable in a run-first offense. He just does. I mean, there's not like a lot to say about that, but he just looks uncomfortable when they want to primarily run the ball, control the clock. So, receiving yards. First of all, let's see what we can find here for receiving yards and for some player stats for the whole year. All right, as we scroll through this list, 950 yards for Amari Cooper. How about Amari Cooper? We do like Cooper to get over this number. I think he gets to 1,000. It's going to be one of those ones, probably going to be a late sweat to get home as he does get injured a little bit here and there on that one. Here's the one we like under. Jerry Jeudy. When are people going to figure out that he's not what he is? I'm sorry. Jerry Jeudy, you had multiples. I know Denver was a jail cell for you, but you can't keep your mouth shut and you don't produce. Therefore, you don't get the ball. It's juiced to the under. It's 700 yards, but we're going to play that one as well. So over 950 for Cooper, under 700 for Jeudy. Until you prove otherwise, I'll keep laying it down. Do we get beat by sometimes not being sometimes ahead of the curve? Sure. But do we feel like we're going to get beat there? No. 5.5 touchdowns for Amari Cooper. Do like the over on that one. It is plus money to the over, so you're just going to have 6 to cash that one. Jerry Jeudy at 3.5 touchdowns. We're going to stay away from this one. 4 touchdowns is not a lot in 17 games, especially if he stays healthy. So we're going to stay away from that one. If we had a slight lean, it might be to the over there as well. Then we get, I don't think we're going to, we looked for Nick Chubb the last time here. Let's see if they've updated any Nick Chubb props. If he can stay healthy, Nick Chubb runs just for a bunch of yards. And he's had knee injuries, but the problem is when it's a knee injury, normally it's a long time out, if not the whole season, right? So nothing currently out there for that one. And we'll go look at sacks, because who doesn't love Myles Garrett? Myles Garrett, one of the biggest studs, pass rushers in the league. 13.25 sacks. We are going to play the over on 13.25 as well. So let's give you all those bets again here to give you the rundown for the Browns. 8.5 wins. Over. I think they've got a great possibility if everything breaks their way at 11 or 12 even on that in that division, even though it is a monster division. To make the playoffs, yes. It was roughly plus 130, 140. It's plus money there on a division that probably should have 3 teams in the playoffs, if not 4. Plus the Browns have an outside chance to win that thing. To win the division, AFC North, yes. Plus 450 is value there. It is not going to be a huge wager, but it is value there when you're looking at the rest of the teams in that division. Them and the Steelers are the 2 bets to win the division that I have to make in that one there. So one of those 2 teams win. If I make the same bet on both, one of those 2 teams win, we're plus money. Even if you do 1 unit on each, the worst you're down, the worst you're up is 2.5 units, right? So yes, on them to win the division, like plus 450 or higher. If you're getting that, that's great value there. Deshaun Watson, 3,300 yards passing, under. Just can't the injury history, obviously not being able to finish the season. Not only that, but you have a run first team as well. 19.5 touchdowns. Same reason we're going to play the under there. Amari Cooper, 950 receiving yards. We do like the over there. Jerry Jeudy, under 700 receiving yards. We like the under on that one. Receiving touchdowns, Amari Cooper, over 5.5 was plus money. 6 should be obtainable for Amari if he can stay healthy 15 games out of this season. Jerry Jeudy at 3.5, we are going to stay away from. No posts that I've seen here lately for Nick Chubb, but we like over 1,000 yards for Chubb. If you can find something that's at 950, we definitely like the over playing there. We think he stays healthy this season. And then the last one, Myles Garrett, over 13.25 sacks. He's been a dominant man. Expect 15, 19 sacks once again out of Myles Garrett. As long as he stays healthy 15 games, I think we have a fantastic shot at that one. All right, so we just went through a bunch of bets. How do we get to see all of those bets? It's really easy to do so. TikTok and YouTube channel pages as well at the end of every episode on YouTube. Docs.google.com/spreadsheet. Bunch of other stuff behind it. Click on that link. You'll go to the 24-25 football tab. Just scroll past the draft picks that we had before the draft in 24. You'll be able to see all the season-long plays we have, what juice we got those at, as well as how many units and what book we placed them at. So make sure you do check those out when you get some time. Like the content that you're seeing and want to see more, make sure you hit follow or subscribe, depending on the social media platform you're watching us on. And we will show up in your follow or subscriptions tab. You want to make life even easier than that, turn on those notifications for that social media platform. You'll get a notification sent to your phone or device to let you know Sports Bets for Free has dropped a new episode of bets, and give you plenty of time to match those up with your bets and give you the ton of confidence you need heading to the betting app or betting window. Also, we have tons of promo bonus bets to give away on sportsbooks, online casinos, and fantasy sites. That's going to be also same 3 spots online. TikTok, YouTube channel page as well at the end of every episode on YouTube. It's bit.ly/sportsbetsforfree-bh. Click on that link. It'll automatically default to the state that you're in and show you all the available opportunities we have for you. We do appreciate everybody's support as always, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode.